Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul, I'm with thedicey.com, and tonight we're going to be looking at an expansion to Not Alone. We're going to be looking at the Exploration expansion. We're going to look at how to set it up, the differences there, and we're going to give an overview of some of the different action cards and how they change gameplay. Before playing your first game in the Exploration expansion, you will need to replace the 3 Drone, Ingenuity, and Amplifier cards from the base game with the new cards provided in the expansion. You will also need to replace the Interference card from the Hunt deck with the new Interference card supplied by the Exploration expansion. Once this is done, both of these decks can be shuffled together and they're eligible to play with all of the new locations and the old locations. Now we're ready to look at the setup. Now I've got most of it done because, as you can see, in the expansion, in the Exploration expansion, most of the setup will be identical. The main difference is you're going to notice there are 5 completely new place cards to start off the game, and each player will have a new hand of place cards based on these. And then there are also new place cards for numbers 6 through 10 as well. Other than that, the setup, the basic setup will remain exactly the same. You'll give each player a hand of 1 to 5 place cards that match these. You'll give the reserve cards up there a stack based on the number of players. We're setting up for a 5-player game, so there will be 3 cards each. You will notice, however, that the pole, there are only 2 of these cards in the game, so that stack right there will just be a stack of 1 no matter how many players are playing. And then another difference in setup is the bottom row of place cards. You'll shuffle those cards face down and then place them out face down, so you're not exactly going to know where they sit. So this one may be number 10, this one over here may be number 5 or 6 rather. You never know. It's just going to be completely random when you shuffle them and place them down. This creates some more guesswork that has to be done. One other difference in setup is the yellow marker from the base game will now be known as the shield counter, and that is going to be placed on place 1 of Planet Artemia. So now that all of that has been done, the setup is completed, and gameplay in the expansion is identical as far as the sequences, the turns, the rounds, how all that works. It's done exactly the same with new place cards. So what I want to do is I want to look at the 5 place cards that are available to each player from the start of the game and look at how they will make gameplay different. So let's look at each one of these locations in more detail. If a player is able to successfully visit the Nexus, this will allow them to copy the power of a place numbered 2 through 5. So they could basically copy any of the powers on one of the other locations in the starting setup. One very important thing to note, though, is that if any of the survivors are caught here by the creature token specifically, you're going to get to move the assimilation counter forward 1 extra space, so it's dangerous for the players to visit here. Alright, so one of the other locations that you can visit is the Oasis. Now this one is going to allow you to take back the Oasis when it's played successfully if you visited there. In addition to that, it's also going to allow you to take back 1 of your other discarded place cards for each of your lost will counters. So this really helps you out if you don't have much will left. So the next location to look at is the Fjord, and this one is really interesting. If a survivor is able to successfully visit the Fjord, they're going to, in phase 1 of the next turn, be able to play 1 card face up from their discard pile, and then they're also going to be able to play their normal face down place card. So this is basically going to say to the creature, yes, you know exactly where I may go, but I also have a face down card, so you kind of have to pick. It's very risky for you. Then, before everyone reveals, this player will have the choice which card they want to visit. After they've made that decision and the cards have been played, you'll discard both of those cards in phase 4. The Dome is another place that the hunted can go to, and this is a very interesting one. If you are able to successfully visit this place, you will move the shield marker 1 space towards the Dome. So if it was on space 2, it would go to space 3. If that marker successfully reaches this Dome card, you're going to get to move the assimilation counter back 1 space, and then you return this marker to place 1 of the planet Artemia. This is basically a way to give the hunted a little bit of protection and move the assimilation counter back a bit. So the Labyrinth is the reason that all of these cards down here are shuffled. This is the next location that we'll look at. Basically, when you visit the Labyrinth, you're going to be able to reveal one of the face-down place cards, or you can take one of the place cards from the reserve if it's already been revealed. The other interesting thing about this is that when you reveal a place, you can either use its power or take the matching card from the reserve. So basically, whenever you turn one of these cards over, you're going to either get to use that location's power or take one that you can then use on a future turn. Alright everybody, thanks so much for watching. That was our video. As always, we hope that it was helpful and we hope that it was informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to thediceyreview@gmail.com. We'll answer those gladly. You can also leave comments on our YouTube videos over at youtube.com/thediceyreview. Post a question or a thread in our guild as well at Board Game Geek. We love to interact with people there. And if you want to hear more from the Dicey Review, you can listen to our podcast, the Dicey Review Podcast, on iTunes, Stitcher, or any other podcast app. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.